This is New York Comic Con 2016, and I'm here with ComicsVerse.
Hi everyone, I'm Callie. I'm here with V Ken Marion, artist of DC's Bloodlines. How are you?
I'm doing good today. How are you?
Good. How are you liking Comic-Con so far, 2016?
Yeah, I can't believe it's almost over. It's the last day. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Tiring. You can hear my voice. I'm a little scratchy, but it's a lot of fun. You having fun?
What's the first thing you're going to do when you get home?
Eat and then sleep. Yeah.
Same. What a coincidence. So, can you tell us a bit about yourself and how you got involved in comics?
Well, I always wanted to draw comics since the time I was a very, very small kid. I decided I wanted to do comic books as a job in high school, so I always worked toward that. I went to college for animation. I got my BFA in animation, and after graduation, just really pursued concept art and comic books, and eventually worked my way into the industry. Yep.
And what were some of the comics that really inspired you when you were younger or influenced your art?
The comic that definitely made me want to draw comics as a living was Batman Hush. It was that run in Hush. It wasn't the first issue, though. It was, I don't remember the number, but it was the one where Batman is on the cover and he's got like fire around him and he's fighting Ra's al Ghul. And there was this really cool scene in the beginning of that where he jumps from the Bat plane to like Air Force One plane. Like there's a sequence, and it just like kind of blew my mind because I hadn't seen anything like that in comic books. And I was just like, this is, like, I want to do this, you know. And so it was Jim Lee, and then also shortly after that is when Michael Turner did a lot of stuff at DC, and that was when I recognized him from his Flash covers. That's where I first discovered him, and then I went back and discovered Fathom and Witchblade and all the stuff he did. So it was those two guys when I was younger that really made me want to draw.
And so you worked on Bloodlines. For people who might not be familiar with it, could you quickly describe the concept?
Sure thing. It's a reboot of the Bloodlines. Was a story that DC did in the early 90s that was creating new characters for the company, and most of them they haven't used them in like a long time. So it was this is like in the new 52, the new DC universe. Basically, we got to redo the Bloodlines characters, and J.T. Krul, the writer of the book, had a very big affinity for Loose Cannon, who was one of the original Bloodlines characters. And so he became the focal point of the story, and we want to tell, instead of like a typical sort of superhero story, which is what the old ones were, very 90s style superheroes, we want to take like a real like a drama, dark, kind of Vertigo-esque kind of look at them, and no costumes, no code names. It was very the fringes of the DC universe. Like it is in the DC universe, but it's like in a small town that like superheroes aren't in, kind of thing. It was a very small town trope type of horror story. Yeah.
So they all get infected by aliens, yes, right? And it's like killing, well, worse than death. I remember reading about that. Yeah. So very interesting and scary. Yeah. And how is it working with J.T. Krul?
Oh, I love working with JT. I mean, we're really good friends now. We started working together at Aspen Comics. I've been working with him for about 3 years, maybe even longer. I started on a Fathom project that he co-wrote, and then we did Soulfire, and then we did Journey after that, and then we did Bloodlines. So we have a very good working relationship where we both kind of like the same type of stories. He lets me put input into, like, he'll bounce ideas off me, which is super cool, that he like trusts me enough for that, you know. Yeah, no, and we've come up with some cool sequences together, and I really like his writing. I like his character. Like, he has a really good grasp of character and like what makes people tick and how they interact with one another. And to me, that's the most important thing with comic books is, like, the plots are great and they're interesting, but it's the characters who's who you relate to and who you attach yourself to. And in Bloodlines alone, like, there's like 3 or 4 of them that I really like attach myself, like, as when I was drawing it through his writing, that like I could relate to in one way or another. And we had a very diverse cast in the book in terms of who they are and where they come from and what they want. And I feel that a lot of people can find one character, if not more, in it to see themselves in some way.
Yeah, it's definitely important, because if you can't relate, then you don't really care about the stakes.
Yeah. exactly.
Yeah. So could you talk a little bit about your process, your artistic process, like how that goes for you?
Well, I get the script from JT or other writer. I'm working with other writers now on some new projects coming up, but I get the script from the writers, and yeah, I visually break it down into like little thumbnails. Send those to my editors to see if the storytelling all matches up and everything's good, and they all like what I'm going, and then once I get approval on that, I just go right into the pages, and I'm all traditional. I don't use light boxes. I don't use computers for anything. I just do little thumbnails, and then I kind of eyeball it onto the page, and I draw with a pencil. So it's very old school. I've got a pencil, an ED eraser, and an electric eraser, and that's everything I use. So.
And what do you love most about being a comic book artist, or what challenges you the most?
Well, I love most is I get to draw for a living, which is like the dream. And I feel very blessed and lucky that I can do that, because I know it's very hard, But yeah, I love superheroes. I love drawing superheroes. I love all of the DC characters. I love a lot of Marvel characters. I love a lot of independent like Image characters. Like I just truly love these characters. I grew up with them, and I just want to make them look cool and tell cool stories with them and have fun, and hopefully people like that. The hardest part is drawing like super deep. I guess like when you have to draw stuff that is very detailed but needs to be in there, like cars and like horses and air. Yeah, cars are hard. Yeah, any sort of ergonomic machinery that's not straight lines, like planes, cars, like modern cars anyway. That's always hard because you have to like make the perspective with the curves work. So it definitely takes more thinking than like just drawing like buildings with the ruler and everything. But yeah, I mean, that's probably the toughest part. And just trying to, I work a lot to make deadlines, because deadlines they can be tight sometimes. Yeah, so, but that's also, you got to draw a lot when you don't necessarily feel like it. But I mean, I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's like the most fun I could ever have as a job. So I'm like so like happy that I get to do it.
How much time do you spend on a particular comic?
On a page? Yeah. I'll spend anywhere from 8 to 14 hours a page usually. The quicker pages are like 8, and then the really intense pages are like more like to 12 to 14. But yeah, no, I want to put my all into it. So yeah.
And we can see that through your art, I definitely think. And in your very little free time, what do you like to do?
I don't know, comic books. Yeah, sleep, eat. Hang out with my girlfriend, see movies. I don't really play video games anymore at all. Like I haven't since college, so. But I love reading comic books. So.
And just a fun question, because aliens and Bloodlines. Do you believe in aliens? Do you think they're out there?
I mean, yes, I guess. I mean, I don't really think about it too much. I mean, if there are aliens out there, I hope that their Green Lanterns exist. Like, I think like it'd be crazy if like they did like straight up like they had the costumes and the rings and like everything like exactly like the comics. That'd be really cool. But I mean, if you think about the infinite possibility of everything, it's possible. So yeah.
And just can you tell us about your future projects and what we should look forward to, and anything else you'd like to add?
Well, my next immediate thing I'm going to be doing is in the DC Holiday Special, and I'm doing the Green Lanterns part of it. So I'm really excited. Like I love the Green Lanterns, the whole franchise. Like so, I'm very very excited to be working on it. So yeah.
Thanks so much for talking with me. Yeah. I'm Callie, and this is V Ken Marion. And if you enjoyed this video, please like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, check out our YouTube and our Instagram and our website, ComicsVerse.com, where we have the latest on in-depth analysis on comic books. Thanks so much, and enjoy the rest of your con. Yeah, it was great talking to you.
Great talking to you too.